I woke at 3:33 a.m., heart pounding, my baby monitor glowing. Ethan was asleep, but a shadow moved in his room. Too dark, too wrong. I zoomed in, trembling. A whisper came in my voice. "Don't tell Mommy." Then I saw it, a face, not Ethan's, staring back. It wasn't my son. My name's Sarah. I'm 32, a single mom, grinding through night shifts as a nurse in a quiet Ohio town. Ethan, my 3-year-old, is my everything. His giggle, his tiny hand gripping mine, the way he lights up when I tuck him in. Our old house creaks with every gust of wind, its peeling paint and sagging floors a constant reminder of how hard I'm scraping by. It's just us two, and until last week, I thought this place was home. But something's changed, something I can't shake. It was Tuesday after a brutal 12-hour shift at the hospital. I dragged myself through the front door at 2 a.m., my scrubs wrinkled, feet screaming for relief. Too exhausted to climb the stairs, I collapsed onto the lumpy couch, fumbling for my phone to open the baby monitor app. It's my ritual, checking on Ethan before I let myself rest. His face always calms me, no matter how bad the day's been. There he was, in his crib, curled up with his stuffed dinosaur, its green tail poking out from the blanket. The nightlight painted star shapes across the ceiling, and his room looked so peaceful, so safe. I smiled, exhaustion pulling me under, my eyes fluttering shut. I thought he was okay, thought we were okay. But at 3:33 a.m., I snapped awake, a sick dread choking my chest like cold fingers on my neck. No sound, no reason, just a feeling that something was horribly wrong. My phone glowed on the coffee table, the monitor feed open without me touching it. I grabbed it, palms slick with sweat, expecting Ethan's sleeping face. What I saw stopped my heart. The screen flickered like static on an old VHS tape. The room looked colder, the starlight dimmer, almost swallowed. In the corner by Ethan's toy chest was a shadow, too solid, too dark, like it was eating the light around it. My breath caught, stuck in my throat. I rubbed my eyes, thinking it was a trick of exhaustion. Night shifts mess with your head, right? But when I looked again, the shadow was gone. My pulse hammered, but I couldn't look away, my fingers frozen on the phone. Then I heard it, a whisper, sharp and clear, slicing through the silence. "Sarah." It was my voice, but my lips were still. The room spun, my stomach lurching. I checked the app, hands shaking. The volume was off. How was this happening? The whisper came again, colder. "Don't tell Mommy." My heart pounded so loud I thought it'd wake the house. I zoomed in on the feed, my fingers trembling. The shadow was back, inches from Ethan's crib, its edges curling like smoke, brushing the edge of his blanket. The monitor's static buzzed in my ears, my lungs turning to ice. I couldn't just sit there. I threw the blanket off and bolted upstairs, socks slipping on the creaky hardwood. I tripped over Ethan's squeaky toy duck, pain stabbing through my toe, but I didn't stop. His door loomed ahead, the dinosaur sticker half peeled, mocking me. I shoved it open, gasping for air. Ethan was fine, snoring softly, his chubby cheeks glowing under the starlight. The room smelled of baby shampoo and crayons, so normal it felt like a cruel lie. I checked every corner, under the crib, behind the curtains, even inside the closet. Nothing. My knees buckled, but I stood there, watching his chest rise and fall, trying to convince myself it was nothing. I sank onto the rug, clutching the phone. The monitor feed was clear now, just Ethan and his dinosaur, like nothing had happened. I stayed there till dawn, my eyes burning, my mind stuck on that whisper. It wasn't a dream, no matter how much I wanted it to be. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was in his room, watching him, waiting. That morning, I dug an old webcam out of a box in the garage and set it up in Ethan's room, aimed right at the crib. If something was happening, I needed proof, something to show I wasn't losing my mind. I kissed Ethan's forehead, his soft hair brushing my lips, and dragged myself to work, checking the monitor app every chance I got. My coworkers noticed I was jumpy, but I brushed them off. How could I explain this? At 3:33 a.m., in the hospital break room, the app glitched again. The screen froze, then showed the shadow, now standing over Ethan's crib, its shape almost human, too still. The whisper snarled, "He's not yours." My coffee mug slipped from my hands, shattering on the tiles, but I didn't care. I was already dialing Jen, my neighbor, my voice breaking. "Check Ethan, please, now!" She said he was fine, tucked in, no one else in the house. but the whisper kept coming through the phone, taunting me. "You can't save him, Sarah." When I got home, I yanked the webcam's SD card and jammed it into my laptop, hands trembling. At exactly 3:33 a.m., the footage showed the shadow gliding across the room, slow and deliberate, toward the crib. Ethan didn't stir, but his dinosaur was on the floor, like something had pushed it. My stomach twisted. This wasn't a glitch. This was real. I couldn't pretend anymore. I started digging into the monitor's history. I'd bought it for $10 at a thrift store, a beat-up model with a cracked stand, thinking it was a steal. The cashier said it came from a local estate sale, no name, just some family. I hadn't thought twice about it. Now I wished I had. On my lunch break, I searched online and found a news article from 2015. A family 3 streets over lost their kid, vanished from their crib, no trace, no leads. The article had a blurry photo of the nursery. My blood ran cold. It was my monitor, down to the crack on the stand. I read on, my hands shaking, the words blurring together. The article mentioned a cult called The Whisper. The family was deep in it, offering their child in a ritual at 3:33 a.m., binding its soul to an object like a monitor to return someday. My mind raced. Was my monitor part of this? Had I brought something into our home? I kept Ethan at Jen's that day, too scared to let him sleep in his room. I wasn't taking chances. That night, I tore through the house, desperate for answers. In the attic, among moldy boxes and cobwebs, I found a Polaroid tucked in a cracked frame. It showed Ethan's room, but it wasn't Ethan in the crib. A pale child, not mine, sat there, eyes locked on the camera, unblinking. My chest caved in, my breath shallow. Who was this? A memory hit me, sharp and raw, like a knife. 5 years ago, before Ethan, I was pregnant. 8 weeks in, I lost it. I never told a soul, not even my mom. I called it my almost baby, a secret grief I buried deep. I'd mourned alone, whispering apologies to a child I'd never meet. Why was this coming back now? Was it connected? I stayed in Ethan's room that night, the monitor unplugged, sitting cross-legged on the rug with a flashlight. The stars on the walls felt like eyes, watching me. I held Ethan's dinosaur, its worn fabric grounding me. At 3:33 a.m., my phone lit up, the monitor app opening on its own. My heart sank as the screen showed Ethan's crib and something else. It wasn't Ethan. A child, about 3, pale as bone, with eyes too big, too dark, stared straight at me. Its lips moved, whispering in my voice, "I'm yours, Sarah. I've always been yours." I screamed, waking Ethan, his cries piercing the air. I scooped him up, his tears soaking my shirt, and bolted to my bedroom, slamming the door, my hands shaking so bad I could barely hold him. The phone kept playing the feed, even after I powered it off. The child's face grew clearer, its smile unnatural, stretching too wide. "You left me," it said, still in my voice, like, "let me stay." I threw the phone across the room, but the whisper echoed in my head, relentless. I sank to the floor, clutching Ethan, his heartbeat the only thing keeping me sane. I smashed the monitor with a hammer the next morning, plastic splintering across the kitchen floor, pieces cutting my hands. But the whispers didn't stop. They bled from the walls, the ceiling, my own skull. "You promised me, Sarah, you owe me a life." I sat there, blood dripping, Ethan watching from the doorway, too quiet. Ethan started changing after that. He'd sit in the living room, drawing endless circles on paper, whispering, "She's sad." I knelt beside him, heart racing, and asked who he meant. "The girl who looks like you, Mommy," he said, his eyes distant. My throat closed up. He'd never spoken like this, never acted so strange. I checked his drawings, spirals, and in one, a figure with big eyes, hiding in a corner. I went back to the article, desperate for answers. The cult's ritual was specific. A child's soul offered to the Whisper at 3:33 a.m., bound to an object to return and claim a FF6D9C1A0B374E7E9F6F, 6F7E5A7B0A2 object like my monitor. That Polaroid haunted me, its pale child burned into my mind. Was it my almost baby trapped by this ritual reaching for Ethan? I'm starting to believe my almost baby is here. Not gone, not alive, but something else. It's in the house, in the whispers, watching Ethan. It wants his place, to be the child I never held. My guilt is a noose, tightening every day. I see that lost pregnancy in every shadow, every flicker of the light. I apologized to it back then, whispered promises to a child I'd never meet. Did I invite this? I took Ethan to my mom's house in Cleveland. hoping distance would break whatever this is. I buried the monitor's pieces in the backyard, praying it was over. But last night, I found Ethan's dinosaur toy on the guest bed, its eyes sewn shut with black thread. I checked it, hands trembling. Those stitches weren't there before. The whispers are in my dreams now, every night at 3:33 a.m. They say I made a deal when I lost that baby, that I owe it Ethan's life. I wake up sweating, checking his pulse, terrified he's slipping away. He doesn't smile anymore, doesn't run to me like he used to. He just watches corners like he sees something I can't. Tonight at 3:33 a.m., I woke to Ethan standing by my bed, his dinosaur dangling from his hand. His eyes weren't his, too wide, too dark, like the child on the screen. He smiled, a smile that wasn't my son's, and said, "Mommy, she's here now, she's me." That wasn't the end. Ethan still wakes at 3:33 a.m. Sometimes he hums a lullaby I never taught him. Sometimes he calls me her. I don't sleep anymore because I don't know who or what I brought home from that thrift store. And I'm terrified. One night, it won't be Ethan who's standing beside my bed. If this story chilled you even a little, hit like so we know you're still with us. And tell me in the comments, have you ever seen something on a baby monitor that shouldn't be there? Subscribe for more POV horror stories, because what comes next is darker than what you just survived.